Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. The federal government has rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to label Nigeria a country of particular concern over alleged persecution of Christians. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the claims of religious genocide are misleading and do not reflect Nigeria's realities, emphasizing that citizens of all faiths coexist peacefully. Spokesperson of the ministry, Kennedy Ebenefa, added that Nigeria will continue to engage the U.S. diplomatically to deepen understanding of its efforts towards peace and national unity. Vice Presidents Kashim Shettima and All Progressive Congress APC governors expected in Yenagoa on Monday to officially welcome Bayelsa Governor Doye Diri into the ruling party after his resignation from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The move makes Diri the fourth PDP governor to defect to the APC in recent months, joining those of Delta, Akwa Ibom, and Enugu State. However, some APC leaders in Bayelsa have voiced concerns over the defection, warning against disruption existing party structures. Moving on now, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has begun an indefinite strike after the exploration of its 30-day ultimatum to the federal government, crippling activities in hospitals across the country. The association's president, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, said the action followed the government's repeated failure to honor agreements on unpaid arrears, poor working conditions, and inadequate staffing. He warned that unless urgent reforms were made, more doctors will continue to leave the country, further endangering the health sector. Senator Sunday Katung, representing Kaduna South, has defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress, citing the desire to serve his people better. The move comes barely 24 hours after the Federal High Court order stopped the PDP from holding its 2025 National Convention. Katung's defection marks another major loss for the opposition in the Northwest, strengthening the APC's political base in Kaduna State. In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party has condemned Friday's ruling by the Federal High Court in Abuja, halting its planned 2025 National Convention, describing it as an assault on Nigeria's democracy. Justice James Omotosho restrained both the PDP and the Independent National Electoral Commission from proceeding with the Ibadan Convention scheduled for November 15th and 16th, citing violation of the party's constitution and Electoral Act after 3 aggrieved members filed suit. In a reaction, PDP spokesperson Debo Olongunagbo said the party would appeal the judgment, inciting that the ruling does not stop it from continuing preparations to elect new national officers and reaffirming its commitment to defending multi-party democracy. In preparation for the forthcoming governorship elections in Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke has appeared before the People's Democratic Party screening committee. The exercise is part of the party's internal process to ensure all aspirants meet the required standards before the primaries. Obong Usoro tells us more.
Governor Adeleke arrived at the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja to undergo the mandatory screening process, accompanied by some members of his cabinet and supporters. The governor expressed confidence in the screening committee and commended the party's leadership for ensuring transparency. The screening, according to the PDP National Working Committee, is aimed at strengthening internal democracy and ensuring that only credible candidates emerge ahead of governorship election. Governor Adeleke, who is seeking re-election, pledged to continue his administration's development agenda and consolidate on the gains made in education, infrastructure, and workers' welfare in Osun State.
And now we have got done within 2 years of president, what we have achieved in less than 2 years. acting governor that nobody can trust.
With the screening exercise being concluded, all eyes are now on the PDP primary as Governor Adeleke prepares to test his popularity within the party once again. Party officials assured that the process would be fair, transparent, and in line with the PDP's constitution. Ubong Usoro, reporting for Global Television.
The Senior Special Advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Community Engagement, North Central, Dr. Abiodun Esset, says Nigeria can achieve lasting peace and prosperity through unity and strengthened social cohesion among diverse groups. She stated this at the community workshop and inauguration of community-based peace structures in Benue State. Our Benue State correspondent Felicity Indere tells us more.
The workshop, organized by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement, North Central, in collaboration with the International Communities Organization and the North Central Development Commission, brought together key stakeholders to deepen peace efforts across Benue State.
To take the center stage of shaping our community's peace structure, you have been carefully selected, brought together in collaboration with the federal government in addressing the prevailing criminal activities in our communities.
Dr. Abiodun Esset at the event explained that the structures will also serve as grassroots information channels, ensuring communities remain connected to the federal government programs and national development policies.
The federal government is just putting a structure for sustainability, showing that Mr. President is concerned about sustaining peace in Benue State and is also ready to support the state government in making sure that there's a lasting peace in Benue State. But first, understanding the concerns. So we are here, people have shared concerns and they'll be given opportunity to share concerns, and we'll work with them to see how we address those concerns in partnership with other stakeholders that are here.
Participants, including traditional rulers, women groups, and religious leaders, pledged to work together to advance peace and development.
Why is it that people are still being killed and we come to sit down and talk about peace and everybody claps? People are still dying. People can't go to their farms. Women can't go to the stream. Why are results not coming? You hear about MACBAN, you hear about Noyetiala, you hear about JNI. JNI is a religious organization, I suppose. They are the brothers and sisters of these herdsmen who come from the bush to kill us.
Our president, our father, our husband, that the governor of Benue State is trying very well to ensure that there should be peace. But because of what is happening outside, by these people that are coming there, we don't know where they are coming. They are from the bush. I'm from West, very prone to it. The road is not passable at all.
I want to thank you and also assure you that we will participate fully and also ensure that we support all the processes that are going to be laid down here today.
Benue State Governor Hyacinthe Alia, represented by his deputy Sam Udi, commended the initiative, noting that it aligns with the administration's commitment to peace and stability.
I want to say that the issues of insecurity, we are working on them as a state. We are doing so consciously in collaboration with the federal government. There are platforms that have been created to address most of these issues.
With the new peace structures across the 23 local governments of the state, stakeholders aim to strengthen collaboration, address conflicts, and promote peaceful coexistence for a safer and more united.
Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has identified over 2,000 illegal admissions across 70 tertiary institutions for the 2024-2025 academic session, warning of sanctions against offenders. JAMB said the affected universities, polytechnics, and colleges violated its central admissions processing system, rendering the admissions null and void. Education Minister Dr. Tunji Alausa cautioned that any institution found guilty of illegal admissions will face severe penalties, including asset withdrawal and disciplinary action. The Kebbi State Police Command has confirmed the abduction of Deputy Speaker Samaya Bagudu by armed bandits in Bangodo town on Friday night. Police spokesman CSP Nafiu Abubakar said a combined team of security forces, including the military and vigilantes, has been deployed for search and rescue operations. The Commissioner of Police condemned the attack and assured residents of an intensified effort to secure the lawmakers' release and restore calm. And now on, the Nigerian Army says it has rescued 17 kidnapped victims, arrested 20 suspects, and neutralized 2 terrorists in intensified nationwide operations within 48 hours. The operations spanning the northeast, northwest, north central, and south-south regions also saw the dismantling of 2 illegal oil refining camps and recovery of over 3,000 liters of stolen crude. The Army confirmed that 3 terrorists surrendered in Borno State, citing disalignment with their leaders and worsening living conditions. Once considered a symbol of modesty, clothing today has become a flashpoint between tradition and modernity. Across communities, the debate over indecent dressing continues to stir conversations about morality, identity, and cultural values. Sadia Yakubu has the details. Stay tuned.
As the act of wearing clothes that reveals parts of the body which traditionally expected to be covered in public. Though definitions vary by culture, religion, and personal values, it is generally viewed as dressing in a way that contradicts accepted standards of modesty. Fashion is a form of self-expression, but when personal freedom clashes with cultural values, that's where the debate begins. What is considered decent in one society might be seen as inappropriate in another. The concern arises when certain forms of dress are seen to encourage moral decline or disrespect for societal norms.
Indecent dressing is improper dressing, of which that is common to ladies these days. Also men as well, but it is too common in the life of ladies.
Schools, religious institutions, and workplaces are often the first to enforce dress codes. Many argue that these codes help maintain disciplines, order, and respect, but critics say they can be oppressive or outdated, especially when disproportionately targeting women or youth.
On a larger scale, when you dress to reveal parts of your body that are supposed to be covered, whether male or female, is indecent.
For some, indecent dressing is linked to rising cases of harassment, distraction in educational institutions, and even more decay. Others argue that focusing too much on clothing shifts attention away from much more pressing social issues such as education, poverty, and gender-based violence.
In Islam, decent dressed is well established. In fact, the second revelation after the first one that talk on knowledge, the second revelation talk about decent dress, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ. Your clothes, make sure you purify it. You dress decently.
Our faith teaches modesty as a virtue, not to shame individuals, but to promote respect for the body as sacred. We believe society must educate, not condemn. True decency starts from the heart and reflects outwardly.
As society evolves, so does the definition of decency. Finding balance between the freedom of expression and respect for cultural values remains a challenge. True change may begin not with what we wear, but with how we choose to see and respect one another. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television News.
You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, 15% fuel import tariff, Dangote Refinery promises steady supply of petrol and diesel nationwide. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. This is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has assured Nigerians have an uninterrupted supply of petrol and diesel despite new tariff on fuel imports. Group Chief Branding Officer Anthony Chidinga said the refinery's high production capacity guarantees national energy stability and consumer confidence. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association Nigerian President Abubakar Megandi added that the new imported levy will discourage importation and boost local refining, strengthening the naira and protecting Nigerians from substandard products. Moving on now to the National Assembly has passed for second reading a bill to amend the 1999 Constitution and address multiple taxation across all tiers of government. The bill, championed by the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, seeks to clarify taxation powers, eliminate overlapping taxes, and outlaw illegal revenue collection. Chairman Taiwo Oyedele said the reform, part of 4 new tax laws signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will take full effect from January 2026 to enhance fiscal transparency and discipline. The Central Bank of Nigeria sold only 1.1 billion naira worth of open market operation bills out of 600 billion naira offered as investors rejected the high yield of 21.69%. The poor turnout suggests market resistance to the Apex Bank's pricing strategy with weak demand across both 46-day and 60-day maturities. Analysts say the low participation reflects tight liquidity and growing caution among investors amid raising interest rate volatility. As the world continues to shift towards cleaner and more sustainable energy, Nigerian women are taking the lead in promoting renewable energy solutions. From small communities to major cities, women are rising to the challenge of building a greener and more energy-secure future. Over now to Ubong Osoro as it tells us more. That report will be brought in a subsequent bulletin. On our foreign scene now, Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan has won a landslide re-election with 97.6% of the vote after key opponents were jailed or barred from contesting. The announcement comes after days of violent protests and nationwide curfew and internet blackout, with Opposition Party for Democracy and Progress claiming hundreds were killed in clashes with security forces. The United Nations and international observers have expressed concern over the violence, censorship, and reports of human rights abuse during the poll. Economic activity has ground to a halt in Cameroon's northern city of Maroua after opposition leader Issa Tiroma Bekri called for a nationwide ghost town protest. Traders and students stayed home out of fear of violence, with many markets closed and security forces scarce in the streets. The protest marks the third phase of Bakri's campaign against President Biya's government, signaling growing tension ahead of next week's planned nationwide shutdown. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney says the world is undergoing one of the most profound shifts since the fall of the Berlin Wall. China's President Xi Jinping has invited Prime Minister Carney to China in the first formal talks between nations leaders since 2017, before also holding first discussions with Japan's new premier. Over now to Uyi Agbomofegbe as he completes the report.
Canada's relations with China are among the worst of any Western nation. However, both are at the sharp end of Donald Trump's tariff onslaught, even after Xi and the U.S. leaders deal to de-escalate tensions. Speaking at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation CEO Summit in South Korea, Prime Minister Carney made clear that the rules-based liberalized trade and investment system the world has known for a long time is gone.
Our world is undergoing one of the most profound shifts since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And that old world, the world in which APEC prospered, but also helped to foster, that old world of steady expansion of rules-based liberalized trade and investment, a world on which so much of our nation's prosperity, very much Canada's included, that world is gone.
He challenged the leaders at the summit to be more strategic and forward-thinking, citing geopolitical factors and the scale of modern-day technology as the fundamentals driving global change.
I think we have to be clear-eyed about that reality, because nostalgia is not a strategy. And clinging to the past also ignores the scale of what's happening in parallel to these geopolitical changes, which is the scale of technological changes that are underway in life sciences, in the energy transition, and of course, most fundamentally, in artificial intelligence.
Ties fell into a deep freeze in 2018 after the arrests of a senior Chinese telecom executive on a U.S. warrant in Vancouver, Canada, and China's retaliatory detention of 2 Canadians on espionage charges. Uyi Agbomofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In the sports desk now, Chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, has dismissed allegations of misappropriating the $1.2 million FIFA fund for Kebbi Mini Stadium, insisting that FIFA directly manage and disperse all project funds without the NFF's control. He explained that the project was approved in 2015 at a value of about 300 million naira, with delays in land and documentation pushing actual construction to 2020 under FIFA's supervision. Diko maintained that the images circulating online only show the first phase of the project. As the House of Representatives Committee on Sports begins investigating the management of FIFA and CAF development grants. The Turkish Football Federation has suspended 149 referees for alleged involvement in sports betting, following an internal investigation into the country's professional league. Officials revealed that over 370 referees held betting accounts, with some placing thousands of wangers, including on football matches. The Federation president said the integrity of the game will be protected, adding that any referee found guilty will be permanently banned. Rivers United host league leaders Nasarawa United in the top-billing Nigerian Premier Football League Matchday 11 clash in Port Harcourt as both sides chase vital points in contracting battles for forms and supremacy. Niger Tornadoes also face Abia Warriors in Mina, while Bendel Insurance, Shooting Stars and Warri Wolves headline key regional derbies across the country. With Eyimba and Kano Pillars struggling for consistency, attention shifts to the likes of Rivers United, Remo Stars and Warri Wolves in a fast-evolving title race. Still on sports stories, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced that the draw for the CAF Champions League group stage will hold on Monday at Super Sports Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Rivers United, who qualified with 3-2 aggregate win over Mozambique's Black Bulls, will make their first ever appearance in the group stage of the competition. Coach Finidi George says his side is confident of marking an impression against Africa's elite clubs in the coming champion. That's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.